you may not want to do the train, since I know there have been troubles with that recently. So again, thank you. I'd like to associate myself with Mr. Ribble's comments again. You are a very effective and powerful spokesperson to build the support with the American people for things that have to get done to deal with Mr. Young's question about the skunk. So please get out there as much as you can, and hopefully talk show hosts will ask you about transportation and not about being in an undisclosed location. First, I wanted to, coming from Connecticut, where we are really seeing the ravages of underinvestment in that first issue about maintaining what we have, we are seeing the costs of that. And I will tell you, we heard recently from our Department of Transportation about the tremendous cost and the time delays for them for these short-term bills. So whatever we can do on this committee to work with you and get a really true, serious 5- or 6-year bill is tremendously important. It's costing all of our districts, all of our states, lots of money, lots of time, and huge aggravation. So that's number one. Having spoken with the Department of Transportation recently, they are finding complexity about Federal requirements and mandates that are applying to local projects, even though they're not part of the Federal highway transportation system. Is this something we can work with you on getting some exemptions on things that they're finding much lower level projects? I think because we're a small state, everything's really near to a highway in almost all parts of our state, and we're finding at least they are being told that they're having to comply with things.
Happy to work with you on that.
Okay. That would be great. So for the Federal highway project requirements are adding to that time, that red tape. Now, we're well aware, we haven't talked really today about technology very much, about that the third piece on smart and effective. We're looking at this in the Science Committee as well as here, and there's a great deal of promise. On the other hand, there's a lot of concern. There's a lot of concern about privacy and, frankly, on safety, hijacking of cars, reprogramming of things. So how can we work with you better? What is it that you're going to need from Congress so we could advance towards this, use our existing transportation systems better and more effectively with more vehicles or perhaps smarter vehicles that are allowing someone like my mother, who's no longer driving, to get back in a car and go where she needs to go?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. The technology opportunities that are right in front of us are really exciting, but we also need to be clear-eyed about what some of the challenges are with them. And, you know, I think there are several things that we probably should look at. For instance, you know, is there a penalty, for instance, if someone interferes with an automated vehicle in some way? And have we taken a comprehensive look at our criminal codes, for instance? Those kinds of ideas. I think there is, as this evolves and evolves so quickly, the more we can think ahead and develop mechanisms both to safely integrate technology into our transportation system first, and then to think about some of the ramifications of that technology and ensure that we have the appropriate framework for those. Those are the two biggest things that we can do, and we'll be happy to provide technical assistance to you as you consider these issues going forward.
And if you'd like to take a minute and just elaborate on the importance of a long-term fix, because really, truly, this is the big issue in my district.
On the long-term
bill, a permanent bill, and what you see from your level about the costs and what we need to be doing together here.
This is, I want to maybe issue a bit of a warning that, again, as I said, the Highway Trust Fund is a number. And that number, just getting that number so that we don't go under, doesn't speak to what this country actually needs. And the warning is that as we work and pull our hair out and try to figure out how we're going to pay for something better than what we have, if we set that bar too low, what the American people are going to find is that they've paid more for the same thing. And I think that what we've got to do is we've got to step beyond where we are and realize that, you know, Folks had to step up for the interstate system to get built in the 50s and 60s. So we've got to go big. Go big. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now recognize Mr. Meadows for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for your comments today and your testimony. I